We have some folks coming on board right now. See the numbers going up. We'll give it another couple of seconds. Thanks, folks, for waiting for this to start. All right, perfect. Well, hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today for an informative and exciting Cunard webinar. My name is Dean Lapham. I'm the Senior Director of Professional Development and Trade here at CLIA, and I'm going to just quickly go through some housekeeping before we introduce our presenter. The webinar will run for about 40 to 45 minutes with time for questions at the end, so please feel free to type your questions into the question module of the webinar, and we will get to them at the conclusion of the presentation. This webinar is being recorded and will be posted on CLIA's YouTube channel, CLIA Global. And with that, it's my pleasure to introduce our presenter, Monika Pasquerello, to present to you Cunard's luxury on a grand scale. So Monika grew up the oldest child of German immigrants with a keen interest in travel and European culture. She began her career in travel working for a small family-owned business in her home state of New Jersey. Over the years, she was employed in specialty fields of group travel and marketing in Delaware, Florida, and eventually Georgia, including American Express Gold and Platinum Card Travel Call Center. In 1999, Monika was hired as the Atlanta-based business development manager representing both Cunard and Seabourn to travel agencies in several southern U.S. states. Over the years, the team changed, and then she worked with travel advisors to promote not only Cunard, but Princess as well. Most recently, Monika has also covered the open territory of Tennessee and the surrounding southern states. In her new role, Monika is eager to connect with accounts to grow Cunard sales throughout North America. She plans to focus on marketing initiatives and to continue to educate travel partners on the significant revenue impact selling Cunard has on their own success. So take it away, Monika.
Oh, Dean, thank you so much. Thank you to CLIA for the invitation. And welcome aboard, everybody. Glad to spend this time with you this afternoon. And I'll go ahead and get started here. So we want to say, first of all, welcome aboard to all of you. As we shared in the initial information, so many of you have sold Cunard very successfully for many years, but we know that the field is growing. There are so many new advisors to our industry. We welcome them. We're glad that our industry is growing because the reality is there are more and more ships being built and the consumer has more and more wonderful choices for travel. And so we want to talk about today Cunard luxury on a grand scale. There are some really major points of interest that I'd like to cover today. And certainly one of the biggest questions that myself and others on our team get is, who is the Cunard guest? Help me understand who they are. Who should I be promoting Cunard to? What should I be looking for? We'll also talk about the shipboard experience, what makes Cunard unique from an entertainment perspective, and of course, the amazing public spaces throughout the ship. We'll also focus on the various accommodations and then the different dining options and how that all works for Cunard. Then I also want to take you on a bit of a fleet overview, help you understand our ships and how our fleet is growing, and then of course the itineraries that we have throughout the world. And then lastly, I want to help you bring this all into focus as a tool to be able to use what you've learned today and moving forward, and we'll focus on your profitability and sales success. So the Cunard guest, you can imagine at over 180 years of success in passenger ship travel, Cunard has certainly evolved from the glamorous and golden era of ocean travel to what is now modern and special and unique. I find it interesting that, well, not only do we categorize our guests into really four different sections, I think what you'll find though is that you will recognize some of these guests as already your clients or people certainly that you know in your social circle, in your sphere of influence that have the potential to travel with Cunard. So first and foremost, who are the guests? Well, number one, they are regular, what we call Cunarders, people that have sailed with us before. We don't necessarily like to categorize the guests by a particular age or demographic. It really has more to do with the psychographic. in terms of their tastes and interests, their lifestyle and what they enjoy every day. But our regular Cunarders are in their mid-60s. So many are retired. They're well-traveled. They are loyal to Cunard. But also, as a lifestyle, they're drawn to well-known, reliable brands with a reputation for high standards. Now, our second segment would be cruisers wanting more. These are folks that are regular cruisers that necessarily haven't chosen Cunard before. And I will say, as a travel advisor, you are in the driver's seat. You can make the difference by suggesting, recommending Cunard to travelers that may not have necessarily thought of it themselves, although Cunard is an iconic brand over 180 years. So this segment are typically in their mid-50s. They're still working, or maybe on a contract basis where they can work from different places and remotely. But also they appreciate brands known for quality that imply status. So they are looking for the good things, the fine travel experiences, the good things in life. The third quadrant, and again, I think these are folks that you already know, you already have as clients. These are non-cruisers. They love Cunard when they travel with us the first time and then end up coming back time and time again. What you'll want to do when you're identifying these non-cruisers is to take a look at your guest database, your clients, to see who are the experienced travelers that could be ready to experience their first cruise. They're typically in their 50s, they're sociable, they prefer quality brands with a slightly more contemporary attitude. They certainly have an interest in the arts and they enjoy learning something new. So those are your non-cruisers. Think about your land-based clients, and certainly you can lead them to Cunard. And the fourth category, similar to the first, maybe a little bit more obvious, those that want and expect the very best. I think you know them. These are the luxury consumers. Age is not necessarily part of the profile because these are luxury consumers of all ages. They are looking for what is exclusive, what is unique, what is special. These are people who want and can afford the ultimate in luxury. And that's where you'll have your best success suggesting and recommending our grills. These are our top suites on board the ship, which we call Queen's Grill with butler service. And then we also have our junior suites called Princess Grill. And these are some of the most recognized and award-winning travel experiences on the high seas. So all of these components, all of these different categories of guests, what is it that they will experience on board Cunard? They will feel special. In fact, it has to do with our very famous White Star service. Our staff already come to us very well trained, some of the finest hotels and resorts throughout the world. But then there is a very special White Star training that they will go through to make sure they're really dialing into the very special and unique Cunard guests. One crew member for every 2 guests. And what does that mean? That conveys to a very high level of service and personal attention. Of course, Cunard has something that no other brand has, the exclusive grills suites. And then also we have very special, or what we call uniquely Cunard, signature Cunard onboard experiences. There's another component that guests will feel as part of this experience. They truly will be inspired. Cunard is about legendary voyages, unique itineraries, iconic cities and destinations. We offer something also that is very unique to the Cunard brand. And these are our world-class Insights programs, a series of lectures and enrichment programs that I'll tell you more about in just a little bit. And the fact that Cunard also has event voyages. Do you know that Cunard was the innovator of many things in our industry, one of which is the theme cruise. We call those now event voyages, and we have special and uniquely designed departures that focus on certain interests. The third component that guests feel when they board Cunard is that they enjoy the freedom. In fact, they enjoy the flexibility to dress up or be relaxed. And certainly that is a myth in our industry, that many of our advisors assume that Cunard is always formal all the time. when really Cunard is about enjoying the freedom to do what they wish, how they like, and when they want to do it. So lots of time for sea days, especially on our transatlantics, time to relax, renew, re-energize. We have some of the most beautiful spas at sea, but it's really that ultra spaciousness of Cunard, and internally in the industry we call it that space ratio, and so that means more square feet per guest, a little bit more elbow room, if you will. And so luxury on a grand scale. What I want to do now is just sort of tie together, what does that really mean? When we think about the word luxury in today's world, there are so many different opinions. In fact, one is that luxury sometimes can be a bit overused in our industry, describing experiences. Although, in fact, that's not true with Cunard. At Cunard, luxury, not only in our top accommodations, yes, it's a very good description, but luxury for today's contemporary traveler really means something very personal and unique to each individual, right? Luxury is about how the experience makes one feel. And that's what we really do best at Cunard, is to offer not only spacious public rooms and a grand lobby and all of the beautiful areas and facilities that our ships offer, but an endless choice of activities, allowing guests to opt in when they wish and really experience the excitement of the ship, or to be more relaxed and more introspective. We still have some really special things that we do on board that you really don't see anywhere else, including ballroom dance lessons that people love to participate in by our international dance hosts. The dance step of the day is taught at 12 noon, and then they can really incorporate what they learn into our gala evenings and festive events and parties at night. Not everything's super fancy. We do karaoke, we have trivia, we have a wonderful and traditional British pub lunch, and that's in our iconic Golden Lion pub that we have on our ships. If people like entertainment of all types, from music to live performances, guests will love, and they do love Cunard for that. We have the West End style London or New York style Broadway shows in our beautiful Royal Court Theatre. We talked a little bit about rest and relaxation, rejuvenation, and so therefore Mareel is our spa partner in our wellness and beauty programs. The spas are beautiful and elegant, an incredible tranquil space that people enjoy on board our ships. Another place to relax and enjoy with a good book are our beautiful signature libraries on all of the ships. Did you know that Cunard was the first to offer a library at sea? So we have so many publications and a variety of different topics, and even cozy nooks right within the libraries themselves to relax and curl up with a good book. Nothing says Cunard like afternoon tea. We are the innovators of the beautiful British high tea, the multi-courses. In fact, one of the experiences is served right here in our Queen's room on board the ships every afternoon from 3 to 4 p.m. It's a wonderful experience. It's a multi-course afternoon tea, from the wonderful finger sandwiches to the scones to the pastries to the freshly brewed teas, served on beautiful silver trays with white glove service. And then perhaps some soft music, maybe a string trio in the background. It is something really special to gather with friends or make new friends on board, talk about what everyone has experienced during the day, and then certainly get ready for the evening's events. But Cunard is also known for large open deck spaces and 360-degree strolling promenades and the beautiful teak loungers outside. So wonderful places to enjoy the outdoor space on the ships. And then, of course, award-winning accommodations, spacious staterooms, and especially in our suites, up to 2,400 square feet in our top Q1 category aboard Queen Mary 2. And so now what I'll do is let me go on to the next section here. Every so often a PowerPoint doesn't want to cooperate, but let's see here, I'm sure it'll get going. There we go. I also wanted to show you, so that was a Queen's room that you saw on the previous slide. But you know, with our ships, and especially these are some artist renderings of our new ship under construction, Queen Anne. You can see how contemporary and modern the feel is as well. So Cunard has so many signature offerings in terms of our public rooms and spaces to enjoy on the ship. It is truly something for everyone. You know, in the evenings on Cunard, it is truly like a night out on the town. So many are looking for that special opportunity to get dressed up for a special occasion, dance the night away. It's almost as if it's New Year's Eve on our ships on what we call our gala evenings. And of course, with some of the largest dance floors at sea and the wooden dance floor, the sprung dance floor, so important to the ballroom dancers. If you have clients that love that experience, they will absolutely find that hands down Cunard is the choice for them. As I mentioned, the Golden Lion Pub is a great place to relax and hoist a pint, maybe enjoy a sports event on some of the big screens, including soccer, or as it's called internationally, football. And now, certainly to be inspired by Cunard Insights. So Cunard Insights is our entertainment, educational, and enrichment program. A variety of guest speakers from authors, entertainers, writers, professors, explorers, musicians that provide their commentary and really create a wonderful agenda of topics each day. And it really, we find that it's quite an interactive guest experience because it is yet something else that draws people together on board the ships and things to talk about. Now, wow, here, look at this slide. The zone for children. Yes, Cunard is for children and families. So many families today, especially in the 4 categories that you learned about a few minutes ago, are looking to travel with multi-generational opportunities. And Cunard is absolutely your go-to for that. We can take children in the infant and toddler areas for as young as 6 months of age. On the transatlantics though, and some of the longer voyages, they do need to be at least a year old. But it is a great way to let your clients know that yes, Cunard is for those traveling families. Mareel is our spa, wellness, and beauty regimen, or I should say retreat. And so with these beautiful heated loungers, aromatherapy, thalassotherapy pools, they provide a real retreat with sea views on board our ships. And the Royal Court Theatre, you can see with several of our ships having the private boxes, which are available by reservation for just a nominal charge, so that on our gala evenings where we have our West End style performances with some of the most amazing singers, dancers, performers, entertainers, you won't believe the costumes, the set design, it is spectacular. So for anyone that loves Broadway or the West End Theater, they will enjoy the performances aboard Cunard. But they can even reserve one of these boxes for their personal use, where they'll be escorted into the theater by one of our bellmen and then taken to their private seats and welcomed with a champagne cocktail. What a beautiful way to have fantastic seating at a spectacular event. Brand new, and literally, I have to say, just before I joined this call with Clea, it was announced that we have added a whole slew of entertainment options. These are wonderful theater productions on a variety of ships from Queen Mary II to Queen Victoria, including Queen Elizabeth, that by date and departure, there are a variety of new things. Your clients will be astounded by really how well in detail and thought out our production shows are. So this might look a little cryptic right now, but I wanted to plant this seed today because that will be the next topic, hopefully for us when I'm invited back to Clea. I'd love to share more with you about all of these different production shows. Now, talking about accommodations and dining, because isn't that a big part of the experience and a part of the selling process? Guests want to know, what will my accommodations look like? What are my options? What are the price points? How does it work? Now, what I've tried to do here is just in one singular slide, show you that we have a variety of accommodations. And in fact, Cunard offers a special dining room that is directly correlated to the type of accommodations the guest chooses on the ship. What does that say? What does that mean for your clients? It means you pay more, you get more. But not only that, it means that there is an exclusive space that's dedicated and designed just for your clients, that where they'll enjoy their own special, wonderful dining room, where they will have their table waiting for them for the number of people in their party. It's available for them to join anytime between 6:30 and 9 p.m. Come in as they like. They'll have their wonderful wait staff that's dedicated to them and their table. It's wonderful when people get to know each other and our staff can really shine and show that they are dialed into special requests and what the guests really like. So starting at the top with Queen's Grill, here it is. This happens to be our Q1, in other words, our top category. This is aboard Queen Anne, in fact, our new ship under construction. So a beautiful, spacious living area, and there's so much more really to see. And I'm going to share with you how you can find out more about accommodations and really dial into specific diagrams and layouts and square footages and price points and all of that. But here in the upper section, you'll see the Queen's Grill guests have their own specific dining room with beautiful sea views. Princess Grill, our junior suites, you'll see the sitting area here, beautiful balcony area and ocean views, and in fact, their own dining venue. We also do have our top balcony accommodations, in fact, that have their own dining venue, and that's called Britannia Club, and that's designated by a special category of accommodations, again, directly correlating to the Britannia Club dining experience that you see here. Now, Cunard also has other wonderful balcony accommodations, ocean view, interior cabins, even solo occupancy cabins. All of those other categories dine in the beautiful Britannia dining room. In fact, a way for you to position this is that the majority of the guests on Cunard dine in the beautiful Britannia dining room. And this is a great option for people because not only do we have an early seating and a late seating, if they would like to know that they have their specific table and wait staff waiting for them at the same time each evening. Or with Cunard, we also offer an open seating option where guests can come in when they like, sit where they like, and enjoy the same wonderful menu. So you see that Cunard is really catering to people that really have all different tastes and interests. And that's an important thing for you to know about Cunard, is that Cunard is something for virtually everyone. I want to share with you this beautiful rendering of what will be the main dining room in the Britannia restaurant of our brand new Queen Anne. But all of the other dining venues have this beautiful two-story seating, and the dining rooms are elegant and festive and just beautiful. Of course, as we go through with the Britannia Club and then Princess Grill and then Queen's Grill, the menus become more elaborate, many more choices, and then of course something that's iconic in a more European and continental style cuisine is how those preparations are done, many of them and served tableside. So there's kind of the differentiator between our main dining room, Britannia, and then the various other dining venues. And let's not forget that we also have some specialty dining, including the world famous Steakhouse at the Veranda, which is a wonderful signature event that we have, a dining venue on board each of our ships. The fleet, what is the Cunard fleet? Well, we are currently a 3-ship fleet. Queen Mary II, the largest ocean liner ever built, and at over 150,000 tons, only 2,600 guests. So you can imagine the space ratio per person. And then the 2 sister ships, Queen Elizabeth and Queen Victoria, at right about 2,000 guests, and certainly more medium-sized ship, if you will, in today's cruise environment. And then under construction currently, Queen Anne, which will be a 3,000 guest ship, and beautiful and new and modern and really something special and iconic. In fact, Queen Anne, although she'll be the 4th ship in the Cunard fleet, is actually the 249th ship to be built under the Cunard flag. So we're very proud of that. We have a long and wonderful history and so many ships that have been built by Cunard and enjoyed by guests all over the world. Speaking of world, Cunard also was the innovator of the world cruise. We had our first world cruise more than 100 years ago in 1922. We recreate some of these wonderful voyages and itineraries every year, typically in January, where we depart from the northern hemisphere, and guess what? We are following the sun all through the southern hemisphere, some of the finest ports throughout the world, the best time of year to be there. Oftentimes you're looking for, or your client is looking for, a more exotic itinerary. I would say one of the first suggestions to go to would be take a look at a segment of World Cruise, if not the entire itinerary. World Cruise is unique and special because not only is it an opportunity to see some of the most beautiful ports throughout the world, and again, at the best time of year to be there, but in fact, we offer so many overnights where you see the ON indicated here in the itinerary, overnights in Melbourne and Sydney, Hong Kong, etc. And so therefore, these are some routes that are not say track cruising from point A to point B every week of the month, every month of the year. No, these are special, unique, and different. And that's why a world cruise is something really important to weave into the conversation with clients as they are progressing in their cruise experiences. Maybe they're a new client to you, and maybe you want to introduce them to unique opportunities because after all, they've come to you for those suggestions and recommendations. In terms of the rest of our fleet, for this year, you can see by category, Queen Mary II, Queen Victoria, Queen Elizabeth. Each has something unique that it brings to the table in terms of itineraries. And I'd like to make a sales suggestion to you. When you're talking to your clients about Cunard, rather than, I think oftentimes what we tend to do, and you know that I was a travel advisor for many, many years, we might zero in on a ship and then see how the client's schedule or thoughts can fit into that ship. With Cunard, the thought is take a look at where in the world does the client want to travel to? And then you have the opportunity to research which ship offers that place in the world. And that's maybe a better approach when you're looking at Cunard. Also, guests, I think you noticed from all 4 of the different quadrants, all of the different types of Cunard travelers, the UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Look at how many Cunard offers throughout our itineraries. UNESCO, we say the name or the acronym all the time. What does it mean? United Nations Educational and Scientific Cultural Organization. These are sites that are being preserved and offer some of the most unique experience for intrepid and worldwide travelers. So dial in to those UNESCO World Heritage Sites, and you'll also find a Cunard itinerary to meet their needs. You know, I've mentioned Queen Anne is coming soon, May of 2024. It's right around the corner. The ship will be, as you can see, each of our ships has the incredible black hull with the red and black funnel. Our ships are so distinguishable anywhere people travel throughout the world, and so Queen Anne will be no exception. Although what we've seen in her early renderings and such is the fact that the colors are lighter, brighter, and in fact will portray a much more modern and more contemporary view of the Cunard experience. So let's talk about itineraries. What are some of the unique selling points that you have? I like to bring this one first and foremost to highlight to you because, in fact, our itineraries are open right now through the spring of early 2025. Look at this itinerary. Now, this is going in the summer of 2024. We know European travel is back. I've heard from advisors it's probably one of the top destinations, continents, areas of focus that advisors are looking at right now. But how about this, sort of the best of the British Isles of Scotland, incorporated with Iceland, and even certainly an overnight in Reykjavik, Iceland, and additional port stops. What a unique itinerary. What an easy way to travel to London and then make their way to Southampton with Cunard transfers, just an hour and a half south of London on the English Channel. What a unique and special itinerary. But of course, many of our ships do focus on itineraries in Europe and the Mediterranean, again, making London an easy and accessible air gateway. By the way, Cunard has amazing air programs called Cunard Complete Air, whereby we confirm the price, and your itinerary for the clients can be confirmed up to 330 days prior to their return travel date. So it's flexible, it's unique, and it is the pricing is really incredible. So, and also in search of the northern lights, right? I think we all know in the industry that we have to look toward the very, very northern ports, certainly Norway, and the northern lights is a big area of interest for people. As the days become shorter into the fall, that's when people have a better opportunity to see the northern lights. This again is something right out of Southampton and aboard our new ship Queen Anne in 2024. Queen Elizabeth, a beautiful ship, an icon in our fleet. What is special, unique, and different about Queen Elizabeth is the fact that she offers amazing Alaska cruises. This year for 2023, and by the way, I want to preface it by saying very, very soon, our 2024 Alaska itineraries will be released. But for now, let's focus on 2023 because the value is there, it's exceptional. As Queen Elizabeth spends a lot of time in Asia, Japan, wonderful itineraries in the spring each year, she then makes her way trans-Pacific to Alaska for the summer season. So we have some long itineraries. Please also, for your clients that are experienced and they are looking for more unique and longer itineraries, Cunard is your go-to for that as well. But this is a for instance, okay? We have many different itineraries in Alaska. These are round trip Vancouver itineraries, 10 nights, 11 nights, 12 nights. Every so often we'll have a 7-night. But the point that I would like to make here is these are not only port intensive with a nice combination of days at sea and of course beautiful glacier viewing, not only Glacier Bay National Park, but Hubbard Glacier. Also do focus in on the fact that if you did a little side-by-side comparison of other cruise itineraries in Alaska, what you'll find is, and they were designed this way, that oftentimes Cunard might be the only ship in port or with one other ship. Doesn't that make a big difference for your client's experience in some of these small, precious, unique towns that of course gladly welcome visitors, but isn't it great for the Cunard clients that they are in port with so fewer guests? Another unique selling feature, please not only be up on the destinations that we offer, but what we offer on board. Cunard brings Alaska to life in a most prestigious and unique way with the unique lineup of explorers, adventure guest speakers that we bring to Cunard. Bear Grylls, I'm sure you've heard his name, if not Running Wild with Bear Grylls. He's an incredible adventurer, Denali explorer, as well as he led President Obama to Denali. And so therefore, he makes things fun, interesting, exciting, but then there are incredible speakers that are known throughout the world. And in fact, I want to show you on this next slide, if you would like to take a photograph of this, I would highly recommend it. We show you by ship and sailing date, and it's always Queen Elizabeth for 2023, the number of nights on the ship, the departure date, and who is our featured guest speaker. But in addition to this, Native Alaskan Voices is part of our Alaska program as well, so that your guests have the opportunity to hear from the indigenous people of Alaska, their day-to-day life, and talking about their incredible homeland. At the end of the Alaska season, we are moving on to the warmer waters. This is a unique opportunity for your clients to experience the Panama Canal, which normally, there are some cruise lines that offer still Panama Canal, very robust itinerary. But ours is different because it's in the summer. This happens to be at the end of the season. We will complete the season by traveling from the west coast of California through the Panama Canal, all the way from San Francisco or Los Angeles as an embarkation port, all the way to Fort Lauderdale. So that's something very special, unique, and different for 2023 later on this summer. So as I mentioned, our itineraries are available. They're open for sale through 2025. Alaska 24 is coming soon. I want you to keep an eye on one of your most reliable and consistent tools. If you are a registered OneSource user, you know that the Cunard Travel Advisor News is deployed to your inbox every other Thursday. Sometimes it might be a different day of the week, but we try to be consistent there. If you're not receiving it, I want you to go ahead and look and see if it went to spam. So once you accept that as a recognized user, an acceptable user, you will be up on all things Cunard. Cunard loves solo travelers as well. I mentioned to you earlier that we have solo accommodations. In other words, staterooms designed for the single traveler. Now they may be traveling in their own stateroom, but that's not to say they might not be traveling with part of a larger group or party. But we currently have a promotion going on right now that for new bookings for solo travelers made by the 28th of February, we have a reduced single supplement of just 150%, and those are on our normally designated double occupancy staterooms. Another way for you to bring new guests to Cunard, WLCL, many of you know this acronym as the world's leading cruise lines, and these are all of our sister brands to Cunard, including Holland America, Princess, Costa, and Seabourn. And so if your client has sailed on one of those, they are eligible for a discount or an equal offer to the public discount of what is out there in the marketplace. So it's a pretty simple way of doing things, that they just need to show any type of proof that they've sailed on one of those other voyages on our participating lines, and then you're just going to email that to cunardgroups@cunard.com and we will make it happen for you. Let's talk about other itineraries throughout the world. We are a key feature of the Mediterranean. This happens to be our beautiful Queen Victoria, the sister to Queen Elizabeth, that offers itineraries throughout the Mediterranean. But look at how diverse, unique, port-intensive our itineraries are, as well as some of the most unique places. And so I wanted you to just know this and keep it in mind. Again, going back to that concept that where does your client want to travel to, and then you can choose the ship from there. But now this certainly is an icon, and this is something special. It's our beautiful flagship, Queen Mary II. I mentioned to you, Cunard is the world's largest true ocean liner. It has to do with her very, very narrow bow and the draft of the ship, almost 32 feet. That's what's below the water to provide her that stability in the water, and at maximum speed, a smooth and stable transatlantic voyage. So please let guests know that you can dispel any of those motion sickness rumors or notions, that Cunard is smooth and stable and fast in the water, and it's a great way to travel to or from Europe. In fact, something special that we do on the transatlantic crossings. Remember how I said that Cunard was the innovator of theme cruises? We have beautiful event voyages that deal with dance and music and food and wine and literature. All of those things that you saw are important to the 4 different types of Cunard guests. And so we feature those on select transatlantic voyages. We have a variety of transatlantic voyages every season. Here you're looking at the 24 schedule, although 23 certainly has a similar lineup all the way through until late in the year. What does this mean? Your clients can travel to or from Europe in a wonderful comfort and luxury and style without flying. So it's the perfect bookend to some other wonderful travel experience in Europe. For instance, think of this. My husband and I years ago on our honeymoon spent a week in the Amalfi Coast of Italy. It was beautiful. We flew over there, and then afterwards we made our way to Southampton and then took Queen Mary II transatlantic. back to New York. What a wonderful way to end a very magical trip. I've also been to London and Paris, a combination with the Eurostar Channel, incorporating a transatlantic crossing. How many of you, by show of hands, are selling river cruises in Europe? I think most of you are. In fact, this is a great way for your clients who perhaps have wanted to go back to Europe for so long, but either are physically unable to fly or really just detest all of the hassles of those long flights and international travel. See about offering them a transatlantic crossing to or from Europe, or in a perfect bookend to a wonderful European voyage. Here's a wonderful analogy for you to think about. A transatlantic crossing is better than business class, and they can save money to boot. For instance, on the left, we show you a round trip business class flight, which is actually rather inexpensive on this particular airline, and 9 nights at the Cunard London St. James, which is one of the hotels on our hotel program. So no meals included, no transfers, no entertainment for about $5,700. On the right side, take a look at the Queen Mary 2 transatlantic crossing, even a balcony category, using our flexible one-way complete air in business class, and add on a couple of nights at that same beautiful Cunard London hotel. And now look, meals, entertainment, and this particular departure on July 11th out of New York, making the way for 7 days to Southampton, is the National Symphony Orchestra event voyage with its famed conductor, Anthony Inglis. So what a neat way for you to bring some pretty cool equations to the table and show your clients something different. Of course, can't help but mention our wonderful furry friends that travel with us on every transatlantic crossing between New York and Southampton or on to Hamburg. Yes, Cunard has 24 kennels. We transport a variety of breeds of dogs, occasionally a few cats. Think about clients that are either relocating for a corporate job to or from Europe. They don't want to put their pet in some sort of a cargo hold of an airplane. They can utilize our kennels. Of course, it is by reservation. They do stay there up in the kennel area, and guys is just as friendly as this one here are there, guys and gals, to take good care of them, play with them, feed them, and then of course the owners can visit with them as well and take them out for a stroll. We have, of course, to make every dog feel at home, is the Liverpool lamppost and that famed fire hydrant from Brooklyn. So pets from North America as well as Europe feel right at home. You know, Queen Mary 2 also has some great itineraries in Europe, but what I want to point out to you is the fact that we have itineraries that start in New York, travel transatlantic, visit an itinerary in Europe. In this case, it happens to be Norway and the Northern Lights, and then they stay in that same stateroom and then return back to New York. So a lot of these are 24 to 26 days. What a great way to travel to Europe in a wonderful luxury and style. Remove that flight, that long and international flight from the equation, and it just becomes a magical adventure. We have the same option for guests on the British Isles. Look, this can also be strictly a British Isles itinerary. There are so many different choices, but close to home, you want to get your clients acclimated and maybe used to traveling on Cunard. Why don't you introduce them to our famous Independence Day celebration? We offer this typically out of New York every year, where we are in Boston on the birthday celebration of our country. On the 4th of July, not only can guests from the top deck of the ship see the fireworks in Boston, they will see fireworks from all the surrounding towns and cities. It's really beautiful. It's really celebratory. They also visit the birthplace of our founder, Sir Samuel Cunard, and his Heritage Museum in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Other Canada, New England itineraries in the fall for leaf peeping and visiting one of the most beautiful cities, Quebec City, on our one-way New York to Quebec, or in the reverse, or stay on board for the entire 14-night voyage. A lot of times advisors ask us, gosh, doesn't Cunard ever go to the Caribbean? We do. It's a rarity. And so when we go, you know it is something really, really special. We have celebration voyages with Queen Mary 2 out of New York. typically in November over the Thanksgiving holiday, and then a voyage that is in December, incorporating the Christmas New Year's holiday to some beautiful ports, and Barbados as far east in the Caribbean that you can travel to. So those are very, very special. Now, how can you bring all of this into focus? What's next? What is the next step? How do you get started selling Cunard if you've not before? Remember that Cunard is a line that's easy to do business with. We have a combinability of offers that makes things very simple, not a whole lot for you to memorize in terms of what is combinable. In fact, we do have a combinability chart on onesourcecruises.com. For those of you that are not familiar, that's our travel advisor portal that you can find all of the tools necessary to be successful at selling Cunard. So at Cunard, we have our limited time offers. Right now, we have a program called Treat Yourself on Us. That is our wave offer. That is a substantial savings on voyages plus a pretty significant shipboard credit. That's for new bookings made through March 28th. Although in the near term, we have our President's Day offer that is a more limited time window featuring very specific voyages also at additional savings. For your clients that have traveled with us before, they are our valued World Club members. In other words, that's their past guest number. Please, please, please do yourself a favor. If you are going to quote a client, please make sure you have their World Club number, because you may be missing out on additional savings. And I don't want you to lose the sale or become discouraged if you're not offering right away the best possible offer to your client. When should you hold group space? Whenever possible. Group benefits on Cunard really represent a 5% savings off of our launch fares. So that's significant in the fact that we guarantee that price right back to even if just one cabin travels. In fact, when you assign the GAP points, group amenity points, we allow those all the way back to the first stateroom, say for things like shipboard credit or special gifts to your clients at no cost to you. If you don't know what a cruise sale is with Cunard, check it out. In fact, it's a booking window that you or your host agency or your agency can set up in Polar Online. So it's a designated booking window that automatically reduces the deposit in half. It also adds on a very nice shipboard credit for ocean view and higher staterooms. And then there's also a nice bonus commission automatically added for you in those designated categories. So it's well worth checking out. Military benefit. We also do recognize, value, and appreciate the fact that we have retired military veterans and active status that travel with us, and they are rewarded on each voyage with a special shipboard credit. And there's a form that needs to get filled out. Again, you can navigate all of that through onesourcecruises.com. Once your clients travel with us, you know they're going to love it. In most cases, they make that deposit on board that is $300. And what does that do? It buys them an additional shipboard credit. And so when they come back from their voyage and they talk to you about where to next, that can automatically be added. So I mentioned to you groups, and real quick, we are getting to the end of our time here, but I want to mention to you that we welcome groups, whether it's you're holding the space on a speculative basis, or you do in fact have a group of people ready to go. The point is our TC ratio is 1:14 for the most part, but look, in Alaska, we even have a TC ratio, if you have 30 guests, that is down to just 1:10. Now, what does that really mean? That means you are earning 3 financial credits. What we do is we take the average value paid. Now, of course, we deduct some taxes and the NCFs, etc., but that comes down to an average value, and you are receiving that credit back for as many berths as travel on those TC thresholds. If this sounds a little bit complicated, you know that we are here to work with you. Cunard has an amazing and easy to use group program. So that's how it all works. I mentioned to you, Treat Yourself on Us. We have our wave program going on now through March 28th, but take a look at our fares, because if you have a client that's ready to travel pretty quickly, sometimes within 30 days, We have some exceptionally low fares called Sailing Soon Savings, and even our lowest fares, value fares, that don't include frills or perks, but sometimes even the Cunard guest is looking for the lowest possible value. That's why they come to you, to be able to compare what are my choices, what are my options, and you can help navigate the way for them. It's all on OneSource, onesourcecruises.com, but don't forget, we have a complimentary graduation cruise waiting for you and a guest when you become an expert at the Commodore level. You take the online courses. We look forward to welcoming you on board. If you have not retained one thing that I've said today, but my guess is you picked up a few nuggets, I want you to go to onesourcecruises.com right after this webinar. Go to the Travel Advisor Reference Guide. It's right there under Sales Programs and Benefits. This is a 17-page PDF that has basically, it takes you through who is the profile of the guest, what are the accommodations, deck plans. There is so much to it. I think this is one thing that I'll leave you with this. What is the last thing you should do in the evening before you turn off the light at night, before you put your head on the pillow? Take a brochure to bed with you, and this is the one to read. It's the Travel Advisor Reference Guide. So here's to your success. I hope that you all learned a little something today, or maybe you learned a lot. I hope you're excited about Cunard the way we are, the way these guys are. I welcome any questions at this point, and I'll open it up to you, Dean.
Thank you so much for that, Monika. That was really, really very detailed and some great information. So we do have a number of questions, and if we do not get to your questions right now, we will forward these questions to Monika, and she'll respond to you individually. But we do have some questions. So one of the questions is about the Australia gardening cruise. Are there any plans to repeat that? We got some interest in that.
Yes, okay, thank you. It sounds like we have a pretty astute group on the webinar today. You didn't hear me mention it. In fact, we have a variety, yes, and by the way, the short answer is yes. We have a number of event voyages for our Australia-based cruises. It is coming back in 2024. What I'd like to recommend is we do have a PDF flyer that you can customize with your own contact information. It is located on onesourcecruises.com. You'll see it there, and if you have any trouble finding it, please do let me know, but I think you'll find that it's all right there available to you.
Excellent, thank you so much. Another question was reinstating the boat train from Southampton to London. Is there any plans on that regarding the boat train from the, I guess this was on the past as well?
Okay, sorry, my webinars, my internet is a little spotty, but I think you're mentioning the rail service, the rail transfer from Southampton or from London down to Southampton? Correct.
The rail service that's provided, that was in the past.
Yes, yes. You know, that I'm unclear about. I believe that, well, let me say, yes, at one time we did offer that as an option for a transfer. Currently, we're doing the motor coach transfers, although I would like to take a look at that and see that might be something that has to be done kind of on a separate basis. But is there a way for us to address maybe some detailed questions like this? Because I love it. I'm so sorry, I just don't know the specific answer.
Of course. What we will do for anybody whose questions we don't get to today, we are going to forward your name and contact information to Monika, and then she'll be able to respond to you for individual questions. So yes, Monika, we can send you some of those. So I'm trying to get some of the high level questions. Can you explain a little bit more about the reward system? So the number of cruises that they go on, do they move up in rank and things like that?
Oh, excellent question. Okay, of course, at Cunard, we do have a loyalty program. And yes, it is based on the number of voyages. The number of voyages also determine the additional benefits that guests receive. You'll find that that information also will be on OneSource, but I have a like a recap overview that I also can send out to everyone. I'd like to show you what the different levels are. And in fact, it would be important to know that at the platinum level, which is just below diamond, but at the platinum level of 7 voyages or more, there are some pretty significant benefits for the World Club members, but that's what you all, as the travel advisor achieving the Commodore level in our online training, would be entitled to when you travel with Cunard as well.
Excellent. Thank you so much. You mentioned an interesting thing about people moving from Europe back to the United States and maybe taking the transatlantic voyage. What about shipping their things like a car or some of the bigger items? Would Cunard help ship that stuff across the Atlantic?
Oh, okay, that's a great question. Do you know, and this is a fun fact, our ship, QE2, Queen Elizabeth II, which was the flagship of our fleet for many years from the late 60s until the 90s, in fact, was able to transport 10 vehicles. That is not something that we have the capability of any longer on Cunard. So that would be some sort of a third party, but it does bring to mind for me a question that does come up frequently. So as you saw, we have events on board that are a sense of occasion. People do like to wear, the gentlemen wear the tuxedo, the ladies wear the ball gowns. Now, what do you do with that suitcase full of those items once you arrive in Europe? Because now maybe you're going to take some other wonderful voyage, or you've got an apartment in Paris, or you're going to be on a river cruise. We do have a way and a luggage service system that those items that then can be shipped back to your home. And conversely, we have a way to pick up luggage and have it delivered to the ship should Cunard be the end of your more elaborate experience in Europe. And then there is one other element too that I think people might find interesting. We have a way at our pier, at our port in Southampton, that if you are to take a transatlantic crossing and then would like to leave some luggage and items with us as you go about Europe and then perhaps come back to Southampton to make your way back to the ship and the transatlantic crossing back to New York, that we can house that luggage for you. So I feel like, guys, in this industry, you can overcome the objections, you can address the questions that people have, and maybe some of those barriers or obstacles that the consumer had as to how can I make this all work? But the reality is we've pretty much got it all figured out.
That's excellent stuff. Thank you so much today, Monika. And again, like I said before, we will be sending all these questions. There was a ton of them that came in. So those people, thank you so much for asking these questions. Monika will respond to you individually. And Monika, is there anything you want to leave us with today before we go?
Yes, I would, as a matter of fact. Look, everyone, you're here, compliments of Clea. Clea is a wonderful partner with Cunard, and it's a friendship, but you know, it's a business, but it's a friendship too. And what I want to remind you of is those of you that have the Clea membership, remember that you have access to bonus commission coupons through which Cunard also is a participant. So use that to your advantage. Also on onesourcecruises.com, take a look and see who the business development manager is in your area. If there isn't someone locally, I'm here for you. Myself and our team of national and strategic account managers, we are here to help you build that success. So please know that there are resources that you can certainly tap into.
Monika, thank you so much. And that was a great presentation. And we will look forward to seeing this. And again, folks, we will be posting this on Clea Global on YouTube. So if you missed anything or want to review this again, this will be going up as soon as possible. Monika, thank you so much and have a wonderful day, everyone.
Thank you, Dean. Bye.